on time. I love it. What is anything on time at Comic-Con, right? Okay, we ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to 40 years of the NES, the console that saved gaming. My name is Emily Turner from Making a Geek podcast, and I am delighted to be your moderator today. Just as a bit of a backstory, in 1983, the video game industry collapsed. 2 years later, in 1985, here in North America, the NES arrived, reviving gaming with its seal of quality, iconic characters, and genre-defining titles. More than a comeback, it built the foundation for the modern industry. Today, we're here to celebrate its history, legacy, and cultural impact while sharing some fun stories and memories along the way. Of course, afterwards, we encourage everyone to participate in our Q&A. So now let's meet our panelists. Damien, first up. He's the host of Making a Geek podcast and Retro Game Night podcast. Please welcome Damien DiCarlo. Next, we have player 2 of the Retro Game Night podcast. Please welcome Earl Lawrence. A regular guest on both Retro Game Night podcast and Making a Geek podcast, a true Trekkie at heart, we have Greg McNeil. Next up is a collector of classic 80s arcade games, a live streamer on social media for his page, Broken Arcade. Please welcome Till Paris. We have next player 3 of the Retro Game Night podcast, Michael Losi. And lastly, but not least, we have a actor, welcome Philip Kelly. Now let's get started with our questions. The NES is often called the system that saved gaming. What do you think was the real reason it resonated with people when others failed? This isn't directed towards anybody.
Personally speaking, I would say that when the Famicom came out in Japan, this was something that was very much marketed as a family-oriented entertainment system. So while it may have been the case a little bit with Atari, Commodore 64, or anything before that, Nintendo, I would say that this one was just, all the marketing ads, everything was really just about the family together doing this, even though carting around a small CRTV is really funny to me. But yeah, I would say that kind of stood out already from the beginning. It was wholesome, it was kind of funny, it was quirky, and it just looked a little bit more fleshed out than what was already out for like 2600 Atari, and it was just a little bit more maybe rigid, more machine-like. This was just a little bit more human-like. That would just be my input. We'll see what you guys think.
Agree with that. So Famicom, family computer, I think Nintendo took a different direction, saying Nintendo Entertainment System. They brought out a new model, the side-scrolling option versus what Atari had. I think that's where we learn, where it becomes infinite. And I think that's what dragged a lot of the consumers, a lot of the gamers into it, because now you have this infinite realm of now you're side-scrolling, you're keeping going, you're going to the next stages. And of course, if we talk about the character development, which we'll probably go into later with video games, you had Super Mario, again, ending with a guy that just runs into a flagpole. There's warp zones, everything. I think that's where where Nintendo revolutionized a product that was, let's say, Atari with Ping or Pong, and became now a different dimension of the 8-bit system, which we know today as the Nintendo Entertainment System.
So I'll take a little bit of a different tack here. So if you think about the history of gaming in the late 1970s, the systems were like Atari, ColecoVision, and Intellivision, and the systems were such that anyone could design a cartridge that could work on other systems. And a couple developers left Atari to create a company called Activision, And you were able to take these Activision cartridges and put them onto Atari, right? And that spawned all of these different developers who were making some games that were not so great for Atari. And there was a lot of kind of slop out there. Now we talk about AI slop. Yeah, some Atari slop. And that led us to that collapse in 1983. And a lot of retailers just didn't want to carry consoles anymore. It was a little radioactive. They didn't want to touch it. So when Nintendo was bringing their systems forth, one of the things that they iterated on was this it was part chip, part object code, the 10 NES, which was designed so that you couldn't really hack onto the system. They would have basically, kind of like Apple, like a closed ecosystem where only their approved developers would be able to develop for the system. And that was kind of their QC. And they would only allow a certain number of developers and programmers to program for the system. That was their pitch for retailers. They also did a little bit of like price fixing to kind of like dominate the market. But I think, okay, so also like disclaimer, don't hate me, I'm a lawyer. And so like, I think that was also a part of the development of this ecosystem. Yeah, the family friendly part, like, but also ensuring that QC after like the ET disaster, like making sure never again will we have an ET show up on shelves and then bury all those
ET did not phone
cartridges.
home.
No, just
do it.
ET got buried in the desert somewhere. So that's my.
That's great. You know, I agree with a lot of you guys here, especially Greg was mentioning that quality control. You had that open ecosystem, and you didn't know what you're going to get. But I don't think it's any one ingredient. I think there's several things. You had, you know, the marketing campaign. You also had the same 8-bit system. I mean, Atari was 8-bit. Why couldn't they come out with? Why couldn't it look like that? Or the graphics. And with Nintendo, you had a lot better graphics, you had a lot better audio. They spent a lot of time and effort in using some upgraded gear, but still based off the same chipset. So you had that whole process, and then when it was released, you were also drawing off that character development from like 81, you had Donkey Kong. 82, you had Donkey Kong Jr., which kind of flipped the script and introduced different character elements. In 83, you had Mario Brothers, and then you came into Punch-Out, and then you could have the Versus system with Excite Bike. So you're already dripping out and getting out into the arcade market. These games that are popular, you have a story, and now you can play these actual arcade games on these systems, and it looks just like the arcade, and it functions, and a lot of the music with this is just outstanding. It's what kind of sticks in our head. So I think it's a myriad of those different ingredients, as well as you had a support line, and later, 88, you had a magazine, so it just really helped pave the way.
Yeah, I think you guys have all hit the nail on the head, and I agree. It's the one word that really sticks out to me is quality. When that's what Nintendo got right. The one thing that was missing, the market was saturated. There was a ton of games, as you mentioned. They were just missing that quality component. And with that quality component came characters that you could relate to, characters that were fun and, you know, very just playable. And look at my daughter's Princess Peach. This thing, Super Mario has not died out at all. It's a Super Mario universe now. So yeah, it's great. It's come a long way. It's really saved it.
I think, speaking for myself, I think one of the big things that Nintendo added to my life was a sense of storytelling. You know, I had the Intellivision, because I'm old, probably older than many people on this panel, and we can go down and say our ages in a minute.
I think I'm the oldest.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
49.
Oh God, you got me.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, you're the oldest. You win. No, I think, you know.
Oh, no,
Oh my
number
God.
two. I'm number
Okay,
two.
I'm
You're the
number
winner,
3.
Greg.
All right, we've got that sorted. All right, sorry to.
The audience is very
sorry
interested
to
in
derail
our dates
everything
of birth.
already.
Way to go, Bill.
No, I mean,
I'm
like,
youngest.
Shut up. You know, in television was fun. You know, you grind. They were grinding games. You points. You're running up and down ladders. You're doing things like that, and it was fun. Running around with little stick figures. But the environments in Nintendo, the world building, the stories, even if they were very simple, really brought a sense of attachment. It was very easy to attach to the games in that sense. They weren't just about scoring points. I mean, we got Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? Like whole worlds you could go into and just run around in. And Zelda, even before that, you know? And so I think that really brought another dimension to gaming that made Nintendo stand out above pretty much even the arcade world, which was fantastic, so, yeah.
Well, speaking of personal memories and things, what is your earliest NES memory? You know, did you discover it at home? It was a friend's living room? Was it the ads or magazines or TV? That's what I want to know. 'Cause
I
I'm
would
definitely the
say-
youngest one on the panel here today. So.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, sure.
Let's
It's
go with Philip.
my earliest memory was being jealous of all my friends bragging about finishing Mario, and I finally saved up enough, and I started playing, and I lied to everybody that I had finished Mario because I wanted to
Because
be
that's a
cool like
flex,
everybody
yeah.
else. Yeah. So that was my earliest memory.
Yeah, for me, I'm the young guy here. I was born in '86, so that's it came out in '85. So I didn't get one until I was 4 years old. And to be fair with you, my dad purchased one, and next thing I know is we had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, right? And I think that's my earliest memory is being glued to that TV, trying to figure out how to get to that next level or how to shoot that duck without that dog laughing at me. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I think like a lot of us, it was that Mario Brothers Duck Hunt scenario, and I was first introduced at a friend's house because I grew up Atari and had an Atari system and later on in television. But the Nintendo was the coveted system because the music was really big for me, and hearing those sounds. It was something, the music in these games didn't get so monotonous where you could keep playing and be like, oh, there's this loop coming again. You could really get into the game, and so for me it was Mario Brothers, which really drew me in and had me sold.
It's a tactile thing for me, holding the B button, pushing to the right, and then hitting the A to jump. And then an emotional thing, trying to tell my parents how cool that was, and them just not caring.
Again, there's a lot of memories. And for me, the earliest one that I could remember, at least in this case scenario, was having the Konami code and to just finally be able to finish Contra. The hardest game ever. Yes, Super Mario is a staple, the Zapper is a staple with Duck Hunt, but Contra, for one, was a game that was played. I have an older brother, 15 months apart, and we always, did the team up, and that, to me, brings earliest memories of, let's go beat this game together. And it was one of the hardest games until we found the Konami code, and you guys probably know it and said it in your head right now if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah.
For me, the biggest memory that stuck out, and I think I'll speak for everybody here in this room or anyone in the gaming community, it's the smell when you open up the packaging. For me, maybe some of you don't remember, but I remember very vividly that. But the first memory I have was sort of that, but also playing at my cousin's house. And so I lived in a complex where all my family lived in the same apartment building, so we all used to just go out and play, do stuff. But then one of them got a Nintendo. He was, of course, the oldest one. He had the money. And of course, then I wanted one. But it was always Super Mario. So that one started the whole, what is this? This is great. And I didn't know much of gaming at all. So that to me was the biggest thing about memory, was about the feels, all about the smell, the vivid, your memory, the core that makes a gamer a gamer.
What about blowing into the cartridge? Just to make it work.
That's a memory.
Okay.
That memory will be forever just.
So just about the cartridges. So is it myth or magic? That's really what I need to know.
It's not myth to me.
It works.
It's real.
It works.
To this day, I'm not
It does ruin the cartridge though. Don't do it. It will ruin
Yeah, that's right. They say don't do it, but it works.
Yeah, they say no moisture in the cartridge. That's all just bullcrap. Come on.
Okay, so speaking of Super Mario and Mario as a character, other than Mario, which of all of the NES era characters do you think had the longest cultural reach beyond gaming?
Ooh, that's good.
I'll go. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I just immediately pops right in my head is Zelda, like Link,
Yeah.
right? They're about to come out with a live action film, which I'm really excited about. And if you think of just one that has lived through each generation of the console, it has been Zelda. And some of the biggest titles through those consoles not have been Mario, have been Zelda.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time, so forth.
That's the number two, I think, that comes up for sure.
Yeah.
Or another one is Mega Man, right? You have this blue character and he has a cannon in his arm and he's running through the stages. Same thing, it felt infinite. The side scrolling, it just worked. Timing was off because I was hoping that it would be up there. But yeah, Mega Man for me would be a character that would solidify also up there with Link and Super Mario.
I would say Samus from Metroid. That's one that is, to this day, I talk to people about the new Metro release and they're like so on the edge of their seat waiting for it. I mean, how long have we waited for the latest one? I was talking to a friend of yours actually about that, and it was more about like, man, I don't know how much longer I have to wait for this. So it does have a following. There is something that has lasted. We don't have like a Metroid movie or anything like that, but I mean, I know that character is maybe underrated. I don't even want to say that, but it was just not as popularized, and it still lasted all this time.
Still before GTA
So-
6, though.
Still before GTA 6, yeah.
I actually think the point you just made is one of the strangest things to me, which is the most underexploited IP out there is Nintendo IP, right? Like we should have like crazy Castlevania TV shows and
Yeah.
movies going on.
More of it,
Why
for
did
sure.
it take this long to get like Zelda, like live action, Metroid, right? Like
Marvel ran out of juice.
right, it's almost
There's
like
only so much I got.
if you've seen the studio, right? Like they're joking about like making a Kool-Aid movie because it's exploiting IP, you know, and everybody in like LA is like, you've got your screenplay, and then they're like, well, is there any IP you can exploit? It's like, well, I guess I could turn it into a Cocoa Puffs screenplay, right? And it's like, how about some Nintendo, right?
If they can make a Tetris movie coming up a
The
Monopoly
Tetris
movie,
movie's
they can do
great.
it.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The song, oh yeah, for sure, I can hear it now.
Yeah, how does it go? I was just kidding.
Okay, so what lessons from the NES era still show up in how games and consoles are made now?
I think we got it. I mean, Philip was already talking about, I mean, the storytelling has just radically expanded when you started getting into that. I mean, it started early on, again, from the arcade games, from Donkey Kong '81, all the way into, I mean, look at Zelda. This was like a masterpiece at the time, and just you know, dripped into everything else. I think the storytelling is the biggest part.
I think like world exploration too, like these wide open worlds we have now in video games started with Zelda, like the first Zelda, where you had to go around and kind of find your own way sometimes and sit there for weeks not knowing what to do next, but you're just running around killing things, you know?
Yep.
It's an open world. Kind of started that.
With that, I think on the hardware side, the controller itself, you have the D-pad that just came out, you have an A and B function. Again, this controller set your tone of how you can actually control the game.
Yeah.
And that's what Nintendo wants you to feel and do, that you have full control of a game and not just let it go through the stages. And then look at the controllers now. That's
The
come out.
television was literally like a telephone. It had all 9 numbers and a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything
it
but
was
the
ridiculous.
NES seemed like it didn't have the mobility, not mobility, agility of having the D-pad as an instrument, because you had, you know, the Atari, which was all joystick, you know, no dog on that regarding, you know, classic arcade games. But now when it came to full control of a human like being like Mario, then it was like, hey, I can control a full character. Like I have the full autonomy to be able to jump and do the duck and all this stuff, the full function. Yeah.
That is such an interesting point too, because as Jill was saying, the context at the time was the dominant nature of arcades, and then you could bring the arcade to the home. But Nintendo made this choice to not do what Atari did with the joystick and the button, but instead to have this, to put it all in your hands with the D-pad and the fingers. And they could have made the choice. Remember, there were those aftermarket things that you had the joystick and you had the buttons, but they chose to not do that, and that then has carried through to today. Sure, we get a lot more buttons and kind of finger action, but you haven't seen the joystick really, the arcade style joystick make the comeback. It really has been that handheld interaction.
So, which genre feels the most born on NES to you? Platformers, RPGs, shooters, or something else?
Platformers.
It has to be platform. Yeah.
Platformers. Yeah. Full on platformers. It is the father of it to me.
Yeah.
Say your opinion. You don't agree.
Don't be scared.
Someone debate us.
It's full debate then. Okay.
I think first-person shooter more later on, but for Nintendo, I agree with platform.
And it really did kind of start the whole RPG role-playing thing in gaming, didn't it? I mean, what I can remember before that was on television, they had like a Dungeons and Dragons game where you were literally like a stick figure moving through little tunnels and stuff and bouncing arrows off walls. That's about all you got.
Not much of a story.
No, there was none. You just kind of move from the map, one side of the map to the other. You kill the dragon, and you do the same thing over, and you know, it's like that. But I mean, Nintendo really made like the role-playing side of things. I mean, grounded it, and so we have that same format today. It hasn't changed that much.
Yeah,
I don't think.
absolutely true. Yeah. Just better graphics.
Yeah. And how has the nostalgia for the NES shaped modern fandom? Things like mini consoles, speedruns, or retro gaming culture?
I mean, everything you just said. So you got speed runs. If you go on YouTube, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys try to look up actual footage, and it's just a guy getting through the game as fast as possible, which I don't know how you develop
Which
that
is
kind of
insane
like talent.
amount of dedication.
And then you got the mini consoles, which at the NES mini consoles sold out like right away as soon as they came out, and I didn't think it was going to be that big of a thing. It's had a lasting thing. I think Nintendo's motto should be, nothing bad can happen, it can only good happen.
Yeah, we have a Mario universe now, right? Like we're getting movies, we have parks, right? So
Yeah,
and
parks, yeah.
this thing is getting huge, and I don't really see it stopping. Like I said, it's becoming generational, which is really fun.
Well, Nintendo kind of really kicked off the competition. People coming to compete over a game. I don't remember that happening with any earlier console.
The versus,
Yeah.
versus.
So with that in mind, what would you guys have preferred, or what do you prefer right now? Is couch co-op or competitive multiplayer? I know it's tough.
I miss couch co-op. I feel like that died. I don't know where it died, but it crawled into its hole and said never again. Now everything's like a sign up. You have to spend money, and I mean, just to connect it. You and I, whenever we played Xbox, it's like a fiasco to just get that going, and then
Give
update
it up
for
on
a half
Xbox.
hour, and then I can sign you in, and then you got to sign in your email. So I miss the days where you just pop it in and just sit.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously things changed since obviously with COVID. Now your couch co-op, you couldn't have your, I remember as a kid, we knew everyone's house that we were all partying at or hanging out at because there was 10 bikes in front of the house,
Yeah.
right? So everyone's like hosting a video game, now with online play, again, I prefer the couch co-op, but now I don't know how it can get to that, even though they have the 4 controller options and everything like that. I think you just get more gameplay now. I think that's just because of how we've revolutionized, or how the gaming industry has been revolutionized, but nothing beats like beating your friend next to you and they're getting upset, that you're winning in a game. Obviously, we're talking Nintendo. I'm not going to bring another game in, but you guys know what I'm talking about, GoldenEye, where where everything is, you have that memory of, okay, cool, that's the couch co-op, which it was then, nostalgic feel. That's cool. But I think with bringing the mini consoles and reintroducing it again into our day and age where we could experience it. I have 2 kids, and I play with my daughters and have a good time with them, and it brings this nostalgic feel. Like, this is cool. Like, you're enjoying the game I played when I was your age, and now we can relate on something, and it just brings the world thing. And now you have people wearing Super Mario shirts, and everything is just developed. Like, Nintendo is a genius in marketing now, and they're rebranding and keep rebranding, and now we're at a point where it's, again, theme parks. They're monetizing a lot of stuff, but you bring the feel, and it just brings you back home and say, okay, cool, I can respect Yoshi, I love it. It's all fun and games, but yeah, couch co-op would be better. But
Yeah, I think as a parent, to pull on that parent thread, it's a real treat to be able to sit on the couch with your kids and I'll go outside Nintendo for a moment just to do online but multiplayer at home, Fortnite for example, with your kids, or to go back to Nintendo Mario Kart on the couch, like that family moment. You're screaming at each other and it's happening, and I think that's irreplaceable. And if I were doing marketing for Nintendo, I'd have that camera there with the soft sort of fuzzy lens with the light glinting off and the popcorn flying as they're racing the carts with each other, because it's special and irreplaceable.
that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of magic that just saturates. We're not hooking up to a console, to a CRT anymore. Now we can hold it in our hand, share it with our kids. They can have that same experience that we had. And that's what makes it so nostalgic. So
I'm just gonna say there was always violence in the room when we played in the same room with people. People were getting hit, controllers were being thrown. Do I miss that? Yes. Can my body take it now? Probably not. So I'm okay existing online, I guess. No. I recently went over and I played some Mario with friends, one of the new games, and it was all, you were throwing each other around. putting each other in bubbles and doing stuff like that. It was wild. It was great. I loved it. I want to do it more. I was going to say something about drugs, but there are kids here, so I won't.
It's okay, this is an adult panel.
Is it? Okay.
You meant to
Yeah.
say no to
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah, say no to drugs, kids, at least
Fair.
until you're 18. And have some fun.
Just makes it that much more lively, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could bring back one NES era feeling or tradition, manual artwork, couch co-op, or cheat codes, which would you choose and why? You know, just kind of a follow-up to.
Give me my box art and manual art, please. Give me the manuals, right? I mean, am I the only one? No, this guy. That guy knows what I'm talking about. I miss that. I really miss opening up a full box, not a stupid little sleeve. And it's reversible.
Like it's my problem. I'm
Oh, it's
not throwing it
reversible?
away.
Sorry, no. And then manual art. I mean, that was just so cool, just to dive in and read it. I mean, it would be like that Pedro Pascal like meme when he's just kind of like reading it like that. It'd be like that. You'd just be sitting there for like full on hour just reading it, getting excited for what you're about to play.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. For me, when I really think about just what I'd like to bring back, the two words, because this past 2 weeks I started playing a lot of NES. I was like, okay, I got this panel coming up. I gotta play some NES. And what I quickly found out is I'm definitely not as good as I once was. And there was two words that just kept coming up a lot. It was game over. And honestly, as much as I hated to see those words, I kind of appreciated it because games just aren't hard anymore like they were. And I don't know, they were unforgiving. They were just. There was something about it where you just felt a commitment to not get that game over screen, and yeah, there's something missing there.
Yeah. I'm on the camp with the box art. I mean, I started with Atari where the box art and the artwork was better than the game most of the time. And just to go to Toys R Us and see all the different Nintendo games that you just wanted so bad and be able to open it up, finally get it, was just such an amazing feeling.
I mean, things were made with quality.
Remember the game Genie?
Yeah.
Right?
Bring it
That'd be
back.
cool. Yeah. That's such cheating, but like, yeah.
But it felt so good to pay for your cheating. You're like, I own this
Speaking of
cheat.
cheating, the Nintendo Power Magazine, like you had to get a Nintendo Power Magazine to finish a game or to get a walkthrough of. Again, that's something now you go online and you're like,
Go to the grocery store, you gotta write down the code.
Yeah, you have to write down the code. Or
Go
the
back
moves,
home,
like
bro.
how do you do a move and you have to get this magazine.
No, the magazines are expensive.
Who's called the Nintendo
I want the
number?
Nintendo hotline.
No, Nintendo
Because
hotline?
I get lonely and I want to be able to talk about the game I'm playing with someone. Yeah, like I'm lonely and I'm in pain and I want to call Nintendo hotline.
That was a 900 number.
I spent a lot of money as a kid.
Turn it off and turn it on.
Well, with that in mind, what's the most unexpected or weird memory you have tied to the NES? Something that makes you laugh now, looking back.
Power glove.
For me, the trackpad. How stupid did we look running on the trackpad? Like it was like DDR on speed. Yeah.
Anybody else? No? We all share the same memory? Yeah?
No?
I'm curious actually, what was the first NES game you ever beat? If you can remember. Very first one.
Had to be Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Super Mario.
Super Mario.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't Legend of Zelda.
I think the most rewarding was the Contra. But
Oh.
yeah, most rewarding was Contra.
Did anyone beat Battletoads? Anyone beat Battletoads?
You know, if we're gonna say most rewarding that I ever beat, it would be a Ninja Gaiden.
Yes.
It was one of the most
That's
difficult
tough.
games
That is-
I've ever played, and I
there a
remember
code for
defeating
Ninja
it and like running around the block, or you know, it was like I took a real victory lap that day.
Did you use the Game Genie or?
No, it was all me.
Okay,
Come
good.
on.
It took him a minute.
Pure Phil.
Young
But
Phil.
remember, you could pause. Like there was no saving in these games, so you had to, if you were to like, hey, dinner's ready, or you got to do something, you're turning off the TV.
almost there.
But it was a pause, and the TV was off, but the console was still on. I don't know how that thing did not burn down the house. It was just one of those things. I'm like,
Overnight?
Yeah, overnight. The next day after school, you're back in and you're plugged in. Like
Channel
nothing happened.
3?
Yeah. Is that the channel?
Yeah.
RCA cables.
Yeah, for me that one was Punch Out.
Oh, yeah, Mike Tyson, yeah.
Just like-
That was
Meeting
very
Mike
rewarding.
Tyson.
Punch Out was.
When you got past Glass Jaw, you felt like you were.
And then now there's all the Easter eggs on Punch Out. Like if he does like a wave, then yeah. Punch Out was hard too. Mike Tyson. Body blow. Yeah, body blow always. There you go.
So I am curious your thoughts. If Nintendo had not chosen Super Mario Brothers as the pack-in, what other game could have defined the system just as strongly? Is there one?
They packaged Duck. I think they packaged Duck.
This is kind of a reach. Maybe it's not. I mean, it wouldn't define the NES, but I think if it would have included Zelda, it definitely would have been the most obvious. But I think that stood on its own. Given the time period of how it got popular, I wouldn't doubt if you packed Ninja Turtles with it, it would have just been like off the shelves. Now, did it define the NES? Maybe being really goddamn hard, but like other than that, no, I wouldn't say it was a Nintendo representation.
I think it'd have to be another platform, and I would see, going back to what your character earlier, and Samus, Metroid.
Metroid.
Metroid would be good.
Amazing. Well, what would you rather see hit store shelves again, the NES Mini or the original console? I understand we would need to get the cables for that, but
Let's just
Like-
go back
like
to the
original
original.
remanufactured
like
brand
the
new?
actual original console, if they could have it exactly as it was when it first came out, or the NES Mini. What would you say?
I would say original, and I would get a CRT TV so fast right away again. All original
Pretty,
connection, let's go.
pretty tough to ask a bunch of middle-aged men if they
Yeah.
want to go for the new thing.
Like, wouldn't you want the HDMI?
I was like, HDMI though,
Yeah.
It's probably worth more now, the original, as a collector's piece than obviously the mini, but yeah. Again, that's a whole nother topic of gaming now. People collect and you have the original consoles, then they're graded. And the video games, you have a gold Zelda game and you grade that, and those are a lot of things now. So I guess, yes, the question for us, I would prefer the original because it's probably worth more than the mini, but I wouldn't play it, right? It's collecting, it's a collector's piece.
So you wouldn't open it?
No. Keep it boxed.
Okay. Well, the NES had some of the strangest add-ons in gaming history. Which accessory do you think best represents Nintendo's wild experimentation? Let's just.
And you can't say Power Glove.
No.
I already said that. I'm gonna stay out of this one.
Say Rob. The robot Gyromite.
Are you doing the Rob right now? Is that what you're
trying
doing?
to, but it's like when you played Gyromite and you did Rob, it took a lot of time, right? You could go make a sandwich and eat lunch before the game's even
That's how
done
he
with
worked
the
his way over.
stage. I think that's where it is. Does anyone?
I just wanted to bring this up. Does anyone remember the NES Max and the NES Advantage controllers?
Yeah, I had an advantage.
Yeah,
Were
because that
those
kind
the
of
ones
like,
that, like
The
you basically
Advantage?
cheated. You just like
well, that
held
was the
them up and
Max.
just, like,
Well, the Max
forever.
did that for sure. The
It was
Advantage
like an
also had a
auto trigger.
joystick.
Double tap.
Yeah.
Double tap.
Yeah, I don't know, but it just brought a whole different type of gaming, or it brought back some of the arcade feel back to the NES. And so with that accessory, it just kind of reopened up what the Nintendo could do, to me at least. Yeah, but sometimes you did need that turbo button for certain games. It was clutch. Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of different controllers like that. And then you'd go to your friend's house, and he'd toss you like the basic controller that came with the game, right? And then he pulls out this like thing from the box, and it's glowing. His face is glowing. And you're like, cool, let's play. And like, game over. You're like, what happened, man? Oh, it's just, I got a new thing. Right.
Wanted to test it out.
Guys, the ultimate vehicle for the NES, the movie The Wizard with Fred Savage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Competition.
Yeah. Talk about a
Competitive
movie.
play.
The
Yeah.
scope. I mean, there was a scope, the zapper, the scope. There's a lot of accessories that they had that was really remarkable at the time that could host that capacity on an 8-bit system, right? But I wish they did more with the zapper. I think, we had Duck Hunt, a couple of other games, but, now there's obviously a lot of first-person shooter games, but yeah.
Wasn't there a really terrible steering wheel you could get for the Nintendo?
Was it
Driving
Cruising
games?
USA?
I think it was a third party. It was a third party, but yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Okay, personal opinion. Mario or Link?
I have to choose one over the other.
Yes.
I feel more of a personal connection to Link, I think, as much as I love Mario. my sense of adventure, and of course the epic nature of the story. Yeah, I'd say I have a stronger connection to Link.
Getting lost for days on end. And
Yeah,
not knowing where
totally,
you're going.
100%. I always imagine myself getting lost in the woods and, surviving based
Just
on
killing a bunch of
instincts.
people.
Tell you about your life here in LA.
Yeah, like killing a squirrel to eat it. Yeah, let's do it.
A part of me wants to say Link, honestly, and I think that's when it came to Nintendo Switch, I think Zelda had a bigger impact for me. So, but if I had to go just overall nostalgia, it has to be Mario. It really does. Yeah, he's number one.
Same, Mario. Mario started out.
I think Link, I mean, I can't walk around without seeing a slightly miscolored bush and wondering if there's
Yeah, like a coin in there would be.
something in there, you know?
Do you ever want to throw a chicken?
What's in there?
Do you ever want to throw a chicken when you see it? You see a chicken, you're like, I want to toss that chicken. Yeah, I do.
Mine would be Mario, just because, again, nostalgia feel, everything that he did. Again, you bring a plumber, an Italian plumber, like, what were they thinking in Japan? Like, how do we sell this game? Let's get a plumber who's Italian and make them small and have fireballs and like turn into other objects. Yeah.
A culturally appropriated
With red overalls and a brother named Luigi. So
just double down.
yeah.
I think Mario had his time. I think not that it should be over by any means. I'm just saying he had his for sure impact on everything. I love Mario, but I think I would choose Link as well, only because the story goes in ways that I personally find more thrilling. Mario's typically going to be more or less the same premise. Still fun. It's like a party game to me. I think Mario's evolved to like more of a party thing where people get more involved, whether it be Mario Party or Mario Kart nowadays. Back then it was just something just to dive in, introductory. Whereas Link has stayed the same. Like Link is always doing at least saving the damsel in distress, but at the same time, it's a different land, it's a different evolved Link, it's gonna be a different world, it's gonna be a different time. So I think that makes it kind of more fun to be able to dive into like a different side of it and not just always a sequel of the same thing going on, just a little bit slight differences.
Okay, great. What's the best villain from an NES game?
We all do the villain.
No, just the best, like Wario.
Wonder why you say that.
I think you're biased, sir.
I had to think.
I mean, Bowser, right? Bowser for sure.
Yeah.
Like
Just be.
you're always looking forward to reaching Bowser's castle and getting to Bowser and just finding out a way to get underneath or over him, just figuring it out, Yeah, Bowser.
Are we talking 8-bit Nintendo, or are we opening it up to?
It's just best villain from an NES.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not got to be specific to
Okay.
Go for it.
Why do you think they changed the names of the villains from Koopa to Bowser and the Troopas to the Koopas and what's with that?
So his question was, why did they make the names change?
It's actually a really good one. I don't know what to say.
You win a prize.
The Japanese are very imaginative.
Do you know?
No.
Well, I know Koopa's a Japanese name and Bowser's the American name. I just thought, what's the deal with that?
That was, I think, my understanding was there was a.
NES.
I'll make a couple calls and let you know. Not sure. Yeah, I think that it's kind of cool to be refreshed that it was a different name, but yeah, it looked almost exactly the same when we saw Bowser and Koopa. I don't know the story behind why the name changed, but it's definitely a good question. I would say I need to find out. Now that he asked that,
Now
I
we
really want to know.
yeah.
Never thought of it.
ChatGPT find that.
The Bowser Juniors were all named after composers, right?
Yeah.
Remember? They're all composers, and yeah, I don't know how Bowser got it.
Yeah.
My personal NES game, not like a franchise, but villain, I was really just as a kid intimidated by the Shredder and Turtles. Whenever I got to it, I was just scared out of my mind. I was just about to die. And then one of those games that had like multiple Shredders come out, where it was like cloning all of a sudden, and like, okay, I'm just gonna die right now. Whereas, Koopa was still, he was a fun bad guy. I was thrilled to obviously fight or be, in that stage. But I would say personally, mine would be Shredder.
Philip, what was yours?
Probably Ganon, or Ganondorf later. Probably Ganon.
What's the timeline?
Don't.
Be clear. Be clear.
Yeah, just Ganon. All versions of Ganon, I think are cool.
Okay, I know that you have an answer, but cheat codes, yes or no?
Yes, the cheat codes, come on.
I mean, 100 lives? Okay, please.
Well, I think-
Like, yes.
I think it adds that layer of, now let's get to the consumer and let's also let them make sure that they can also finish the game, right? Because otherwise, frustration builds in. You also want that self-gratification of, okay, cool, we did it. Whether you did it with a cheat code or not, I think that's just to help the overall gameplay. Whether that was the plan or not, to add those Easter eggs toward the end and we see it, but we also talk about it, we remember it. There's certain things that a cheat code, not to say cheating's good, because it's really not, so if you're, whatever, but.
If it's really tough, then it is.
Yeah, come on, you're a cheat
So,
coder.
I liked when cheat codes were sort of when they came through like the magazine or something, like where it was like, to use like a fitness analogy, like you got stuck and you needed that spot to get the last rep up, right?
Yeah.
Because like gaming then was like you would get to a spot and if you were stuck and you didn't have a friend who could get you through, you never got to the end, and that was a little frustrating. So if you could call the line or someone could help you through, or if the cheat code would help you through, that was great. And like that doesn't really work today, right? Because there's no way to keep the genie in the bottle today with the internet and everything. And so, but it was limited access, limited purpose cheat codes, I guess, would be my take on it, which was it's so time period specific. You couldn't do it again today. And so despite my earlier mention of the game genie, no game genie, right?
Okay, I have a personal question for everybody. The one NES game you'd never sell.
That never what?
You'd never sell.
Never saw.
Legend of Zelda Unboxed.
Yeah.
The gold one.
The gold one.
Yeah.
The gold one, okay.
100%.
Same.
Okay, everybody's in.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to break this out now to Q&A, so if anyone would.
Can I say one thing? Because I
Yes,
was mentioning about the
absolutely.
cheat code thing.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
One thing that I really miss, and I think they should bring back, not cheat codes specifically, but you guys remember it was unlock codes, right? So like you're in Gradius or you're playing one of those games where you get to a certain level or a certain point, you would get an alphanumeric 6-digit code, and you could put that in, and then you could go back to that level, right? I miss that. Like at least you earned that, right?
Yeah.
So you looked forward to earning those codes and writing again and writing them down on your notepad, and there was something to that. Yeah, I just want to throw that out there.
Discuss the impact of Tetris.
Have we discussed the impact of Tetris, that you said?
Can we discuss it?
Oh, can we?
My wife would love that question.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, talk about evolution, right? That's still going today, like on the PS5. It's still going, and that's one I. Thank you for that, Wario. I didn't think about talking about Tetris.
Yesterday on ESPN News, I did watch a little bit, I hate to admit it, the Tetris World Championships. Those guys are freaking amazing. If you ever have a chance to watch those kids, they are so good.
I actually used to have a co-host on Retro Game Night before you guys were there, and he did compete in the Tetris tournament, and he was phenomenal whenever I saw him. But yet he went and competed at the Portland show, and he got 70th place. That's how much more hardcore that I've seen these players play. I was shocked, but that he was a phenomenal player at Tetris. So yeah, there's huge.
And going off Tetris, I think their breakthrough was with the Game Boy, right? So we talked about the Nintendo Entertainment System, but the Game Boy itself, you have it digital, you have a handheld device that you can take with you. I think that's where your Tetris now comes in. And again, you can hear the song, the music, it's ingrained in our heads forever. But I think that's where I think Tetris is a phenomenal game. We all love it. We all love playing it. Whether the zones get harder, there's a competition level. But I think for me, the Tetris is where, Game Boy, I relate, Game Boy and Tetris is hand in hand with each other.
Yes?
Did you have after you've had your Nintendo for a while, did you have a special way of making sure it worked? Because mine was I had to put the cartridge almost in and then slam it.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
The pins
Tetris.
are
I had to pop mine up and down a couple times. It was so like put it in, and I was like, and then it would kind of pop. It would kind of pop back up. It was like Goose and Top Gun. Like watch the canopy, you know. And I'm like,
Mine played better when I left the door open.
What?
Yeah.
No reasoning for it to
No
work
reasoning,
better.
but maybe it's just because it's cooler. I don't know. If you close it, it gets hot. That was mine and my brother's theory. We're like, just leave the door open. Okay, it worked. It played. Whatever works.
Yeah, we always had to take ours, put it down, and move it to the left every single time.
Oh.
That was the secret trick, you know.
Yeah, so far you've talked about all my classics. I've seen everything there, but I haven't heard you about my favorite. Let's go.
Okay.
oh yeah.
RC Pro-Am?
Yeah, the racing
Yeah,
game.
yes,
Yeah, that's some love to
I
give
think
that
that's
game,
one.
for sure. RC Pro
Such
is,
a-
Such a good one.
The oil slicks and all that fun stuff.
yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Unlocked it.
We didn't even talk about Excite Bike.
I
Oh,
know.
yeah, so
that's
many
right.
classics.
Excite Bike
So
story,
many.
man.
TNT Surf, Skater
TNT
Ice. Come on,
Surf,
there's a
so
lot.
good.
Again, this
Yeah.
revolution.
By no means, if we're not mentioning those, doesn't mean we not love them. We just
Cruise Adventure, Ice Climber.
You get older, you forget. Kids these days, they just
Well,
don't know.
there was just so many great games. I know he mentioned like Tetris was the number 4 selling game, and I was going through like the top selling games and just the variety was just crazy. But I will say though, 3 out of the top 5 were Super Mario Brothers. That shows you the impact of Mario. Yeah.
Quick question. You mentioned earlier about not being able to turn the machine off because you say you lose your progress. Legend of Zelda, you were able to sell.
Yes,
save the
first
stuff.
one.
Is that the first cartridge game in a cloud base save?
I believe so.
That I recall, yeah.
Because the cartridge had a battery inside
Yes.
the cartridge.
Yeah.
I was curious, I think that's the first one. Is there anything else after that?
Not that I remember without having that, the memory card stick, but again, that's different.
Yeah.
I mean,
From the actual
yeah.
NES system, I don't recall a lot that had a saving, except for the Zelda.
Yeah, before that, but I mean, Final Fantasy had a save option. Once you got into the big open world kind of stuff, big stories and stuff like that, definitely there was always a save
Right,
option.
but they could only do so much with a cartridge, right? And that's
Yeah.
why they moved over to the compact disc, the CDs as we know, because they could hold more memory, you could develop more stuff, and you have the better sounds, you have a better, colors and graphics, but again, on the 8-bit, they couldn't do much.
Well, that is actually going to be our time. We have to wrap it up. They're giving me the light in the back there, basically. But we are more than happy to take more questions if you guys want to chat with the crew right outside after we're done here. But I'm going to go down the line, and if everyone wants to give their social media, their name, any other call out, we'll.
Want to say first? Up, down, left, right.
Yeah, buddy.
Universal language, everybody.
All right, so we're going to start with Damien here. Go ahead.
Damien_DeCarlo on Instagram, and then retro_game day. Follow our podcast. I think you guys will really like it if you don't already. It's this, but much more. Yeah.
Mine on Instagram, Earl Goes Sailing and Earl.lags.
Thanks.
At Gregory McNeil on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm at Broken Arcade, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
And I'm Michael_Losi on Instagram, and I just want to say thank you to all you guys. It's always a blast to hang out with all of you guys.
He directed that at them, not me.
I turned my cold shoulder.
Actually true.
You can find me at Philip Creates on most places, including Venmo, and my podcast is at Popsicle Pod. That's POPSKLPOD, where I'm not nearly as funny as this.
All right, well, if you guys would like to have a chat with us outside, we'd be more than
Thank
happy
you
to
guys. Have an
talk.
amazing time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.